Hey, it's Jack. Let's take a look at what's in the news today. Over the past few years, there's been a bit of a mysterious rise in harmful gases called CFCs, which is bad news for the ozone layer. Now, after a big investigation, scientists reckon they know which country is responsible and just how bad it is.
First up, let's look at what CFCs are and how they affect the ozone. The ozone layer is a bit like a superhero for Earth, protecting us from the sun, absorbing 99% of its ultraviolet light. Without the ozone, life pretty much wouldn't exist because we'd all fry. But this atmospheric superhero has a kryptonite, CFCs or chloroflurocarbons. CFCs used to be really common and could be found in spray cans, air cons, styrofoam containers and fridges. When CFCs are released into the atmosphere, they eat away at the ozone layer, and by the 80s, people were seriously worried that it was in trouble. So, world leaders came to the planet's defense. CFCs were banned and the ozone layer started to repair itself. But now, there are worries the old enemy is back. An investigation says CFC levels have been going up by about 7,000 tonnes every year, and that most of those emissions are coming from China. Authorities in China say they're going to work hard to make sure people aren't illegally using CFCs. And the rest of the world will be keeping a close eye out to make sure our heroic ozone layer stays healthy and strong.
The world's biggest election has just wrapped up in India, and the winner was this guy, Narendra Modi. He's just been re-elected for another 5-year term as Prime Minister in a massive landslide. His party won about 6 times as many seats as their biggest opponents. All up, 600 million votes were cast across 1 million polling stations. In comparison, our election only had about 16 million votes. A snake at a zoo in the UK has just given birth to babies, even though it actually has never met a male snake before in its life. This anaconda lives in West Midlands Safari Park and shares an enclosure with another female snake, so you can understand why staff were a little shocked when she had 3 babies. It's called parthenogenesis, when the embryos inside the egg develop without being fertilised. It's common in plants and insects, and has happened with wild snakes before, but it was a real surprise. Pretty crazy stuff. Growing up in the country can be tough for an aspiring musician, especially if you don't have access to all the instruments available. But now, country kids are getting the chance to become master maestros for the day thanks to a new program in SA.
They got their hands on the xylophone, the bongos, and the super important tambourine in order to construct a very impressive symphony.
We made our own song and it wasn't like just copied off of anyone else's song.
These students are taking part in a new program from the University of Adelaide to help kids from the country learn about different kinds of music.
We've been doing some percussion music and learning all the different notes.
The program also sets up students with experienced music teachers.
It makes me feel really grateful because I know some people can't come all the way out here to do that.
These guys say it's given them a new appreciation for music.
It made me feel a bit more passionate about music.
And maybe they'll be back here as the professionals one day.
For our next segment, make sure your tray tables are folded up and your seatbelts are on, because we're going up, up and away. Have you ever dreamed of strapping on a jetpack and soaring into the sky like a superhero? Well, check this out. An English inventor has been testing out his latest gadget, a jetpack suit, which lets you become a real-life Iron Man. But if you were thinking of purchasing one, you better get in quick. There are only 9 for sale, and one of these will set you back about $630,000. A basketball player in California helped his team make it through to the semi-finals with this unbelievable over-the-head volleyball shot. I have no idea if that was on purpose, but I'm sure he'll pretend it was. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's just the famous artist Vincent van Gogh's head in giant form floating across the Melbourne skies. Yeah, pretty weird. The 28-metre tall hot air balloon is in Australia for a special tour. It was supposed to fly across Canberra earlier this week, but strong winds meant the skies were a no-go zone. Well, that's all for today, but we want to know, if you had $630,000, would you buy the Iron Man suit or would you buy something else? Let us know in the comments and make sure to like and subscribe.